Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be learning the Japanese writing system, and let's get started. Let's talk about what they are first. But first I want to say that if this is your first time learning it, hopefully this is a review, but if this is your first time learning it, don't worry because there's a lot of characters, and they can be confusing, so just keep reviewing what we have here today, and hopefully you'll get used to them, and so let's start off. There are 3 writing systems in the Japanese alphabet, but today we're going to be covering one of them because there is a lot of characters, and I'm going to be moving along pretty quickly here because there is a lot of characters we do have to cover. But we'll have another video for the next writing system in the next time. But before we get started, this might be a long video, so definitely took a while to make. So please leave a like, subscribe, thumbs up if you're new, and let's get started. So the first thing is the system. So the first writing system is Hiragana, which we're going to be learning today, and this is what it looks like there. And then the next is katakana, which we'll be learning in the next episode. But then kanji we have here, which we can't actually cover because there are just too many characters to cover. So basically there's about 2,000 of them, and we'll have to get to those. Well, we can't get to those, but I'll just maybe do some quick reviews on those eventually. But for today, let's start off with Hiragana. And so basically Hiragana has 46 characters, and katakana also has 46. So we'll be going over those katakana characters next time. But the first character in the Hiragana alphabet is which is pronounced like and it's got 3 strokes here, as you can see. And an example of this character would be ahiru, which is a duck, as you can see there. There's a duck there. This is our first character. Like I said, hopefully these are review for you, but if not, don't worry, because there is a lot, and they are pretty difficult. Definitely could take some time to learn, but don't worry, you'll get used to them eventually. Hopefully this is review, but if it isn't, don't stress it. And let's move on to the next character here, which is E, which is 2 strokes. E is the second character here, and the next example we have here is Inu, which is a dog, which you can see from the example there. And now the next character we have here is U, which is pronounced like an U sound, and it's got 2 strokes. Very useful there. An example would be Uchi, which is a house, and that's the example for this vowel here. The next vowel we have here is E, which has 2 strokes, and it's the sound it makes is E, and an example of that would be Eiga, which is a movie. So there's that character there. And the next vowel we have here is O, which is there. It has 3 strokes, and an example would be okashi, which is snacks. It can also be used to mean crazy, and that'll be a different verb there. It also uses a different kanji. But there with that vowel there, the O vowel, that's the O sound, and the example would be okashi. Next we have the ka sound, which is 3 strokes, as you can see there, ka, and an example would be kako, would be the past, so like the past, present. This would be here the past, kako. Next we have the dakten, which modifies the K, S, T, N, and H columns. So it'll modify all of these columns that we're about to cover next. And you see those little quotation marks at the top right. That's what it does, and it changes the sound. So it indicates that the consonant of the syllable should be voiced. So it makes it like ga instead of ka. As you can see there, if it has those little quotation marks in the top right corner, that's what it indicates. And those are very useful to be able to recognize. So that is called the dakten, and it is very useful. Next letter we have here uses that dakten, and it is ga, which same amount of strokes, so it would be 3 strokes again. They just got to add the quotation marks in the top right corner. And the example we have with the ga would be gambari, which would be good luck, or hardworking. So you can say gambarimasu, which would mean good luck, or I'll try my best. If you want to say something like that, you can use it like that. And then the next character we have here is ki, which is 4 strokes there. It is the ki sound, and an example would be kinoko, which is a mushroom. So you can say you can eat mushrooms, you can use that word there. Kinoko uses the ki letter there, and that's that letter. Next we have ki with the dakten, which would be gi, and then you can see there ginko would be the example, which is a bank, and it has 4 strokes. So that's a very good character to know. Next we have ku, which is 1 stroke, so you just draw 1 little line there, all connected as one. And example would be kuni, which is a country. So any country, you can say it is, you can describe it by saying it's a kuni, which is a country. And next character would be with that handakten, which is gu. So we had gu before, and now ku before. Now it becomes gu. So this you'll usually see at the end of verbs. So you'll want to conjugate the gu at the end. So for example here, the verb oyogu, which means to swim. So you would conjugate it as oyogimasu. And yeah, that's how that works. So you have, it's commonly used at the end that you would have to conjugate it. So that's where you usually see the gu letter. And the next letter we have here is K, which is 3 strokes. You'll see it in the words like keisan, which means to calculate. So if you're calculating anything, money, you would use this verb here. And also a calculator would be keisan ki, which would be a calculating machine, which would be a calculator. So that's K. And then next we have Ge, which is with that handakten again. And yeah, it's got 3 strokes like the other one. And an example would be genki. You can say like genki desu, like I'm okay, fine. You can say o genki desu ka, how are you? And then genki desu, I'm fine. So that's that word there. And then the next word we have ko, which is 2 strokes. This is the ko sound, and it makes ko sound, and it's used in words like konnichiwa. This is very common. You probably know that word, and that's that letter that word uses at the beginning there. You can see, so very useful to know. And then the next letter we have here is go, which is 2 strokes there, as you can see with the dakten. And yeah, this is actually the number 5. It's how you pronounce number 5. But keep in mind, you would never write it in the hiragana. You would always write it in the kanji that you see up there, top right. But if you never learned it before, don't worry about that right now. Just worry about the sound. But yeah, you would never write it as go. You would write it like it is in the top left corner. That's how you write 5. So it'd be pronounced as go. So that's very useful to know how to pronounce that. And then the next letter here we have is sa, which is 3 strokes. It is sa sound, and it's used in words like sayonara, which is bye, but it's not the most common way to say bye, of course. You'd probably want to say matane or something. Bye, if you say sayonara, it means long-term bye, like if you're leaving for a long time. It kind of means like farewell, so you don't want to use that in your everyday conversation. But very common word, very useful to know, and that's a good letter to know as well. So next we have za, which is like the zere almost, and it's got the handakten there. And yeah, za sound. It's used in words like ohayo gozaimasu, which means good morning. And yeah, it's also a very common word, so you'll see that za in that word right there. So, next character we have she, which is 1 stroke again. You just make it 1 line. It's all 1 word, well, 1 character there. And one stroke, she sound. So example would be shigoto, which means work. So yeah, very common there to know how to use that. Next we have G. We have G here, which is also 1 stroke, G sound. It'll be used in words like jikan, which means time, which is also very useful. Next word we have is su, which is 2 strokes, 1 down the line there, and then all connected for the next stroke. So this is a su sound, and it's used in words like sushi, which is very common. Love sushi, and that's the character it would actually use. Next we have zu, which is used in words like zuto, which means continually or forever. And yeah, zu, very good word to know there. Next we have se, which is 3 strokes. Se sound, which is used in words like sentakuki, which is a washing machine. So that's very good to know there. Next, with the handakten there, we have ze, which would be used in words like zehi, which means definitely or by all means. So make sure to do something. That's how it's used. Very common word. So that's the letter that it uses in there. And next we have so, which is a so sound, which is also 1 stroke. Looks like it would be a lot of strokes, but keep in mind that it is actually 1 stroke. So yeah, you gotta make that all one stroke there. That's important to know. And it'll be used in words like sore, which means this. So you can say kore, sore, this and that, you know. That's a very common word as well. Next we have zo, which can be used in words like sozo, which means imagination. This would also be 1 stroke, of course, just with the quotation marks at the top right corner to modify the sound. And then the next word we have is ta. This has got 4 strokes, as you can see. And yeah, this is a common word as well. It's used in words like taberu, which means to eat. So yeah, you could eat anything and use that verb right there. Next we have da, which is also 4 strokes with the quotation marks at the top right. So this is da, and it's used in words like daisuki, which means I love something, I like something a lot. Daisuki, so that's very common as well. And then next word we have here is chi, which is 2 strokes, and it's used in words like chizu, which is a map. And yeah, that's also pretty useful to know that chi, which is 2 strokes. Next character we have G, which is word is this character here is very rarely used, but it is good to be able to recognize it in case you do see it. A word it is used in is hanaji, which is a nosebleed. So yeah, rarely used, but it can be used sometimes, so be aware that it could exist. But yeah, you won't be using it too much. So that's that right there, hanaji, which is nosebleed. You'll see it in words like that. And next we have tsu sound, which is 1 stroke, so all 1 stroke, and it's used in words like tsunami, which is a tsunami. So that's 1 stroke there, tsu sound, tsunami, and yeah, that's that character right there. And next we'll be talking about shisai tsu, which is it's a smaller version of that other tsu we just learned, but this one is a smaller version. So if you see the smaller version, what it does is it pronounces with a small pause and kind of like a double letter with the letter that comes after it. So for example, we have, you can see how they're written there. One will be bigger, one will be slightly smaller. Tsu, and the second, the smaller one there, it's you don't pronounce the tsu sound. It just indicates that you have to pronounce it with a pause. So the words here, for example, we have kakkoi, which means handsome or cool, and it means, yeah, you could see there the tsu. You don't pronounce it as tsu. It just indicates that you have to leave a space. And yeah, the next word, it's commonly used in past tense too, by the way, so you can see it right there. Katta, which means you bought something. So kao in the past tense would be katta. So that's how you would pronounce that. You notice how there's a little pause in there, and the T becomes a double T almost like. So keep that in mind. That's how that tsu works there. And the next letter here is the tsu with the ductam, and it becomes a zu, and it's used in words like zuku, which is to continue. So if you see a movie, you can click continue and go forward. That's also very common and very useful to know as well. Next we have te, which is also 1 stroke, so you gotta make it all 1. Te is used in words like te. It's actually a word itself, so you can use it by itself, and it means hand. So yeah, it's a very easy one to remember. Just yeah, the character by itself means te. Of course, it won't be written like that. It will obviously be written in kanji, but I won't show the kanji today as much as I would like, just so you can get used to this alphabet right here. But eventually, I'll just show kanji only because yeah, that's what's more commonly used. But this is how you pronounce it. And then next would be de, which is also 1 stroke, and it's used in words like dekiru, like you can do something, anything you can do, we'd use dekiru. So nihongo ga dekimasu, if you can speak Japanese, you would use this word here to say that you can do it. Anything that you can do, you would use dekiru. And next word we have here is to, which is 2 strokes. To is used in words like Tokyo. So yeah, that's commonly used as well. Of course, you would write it in kanji. Everything pretty much here would be written in kanji. But this is how you would pronounce it, with these letters right here. And then next you have do, which is doko. It means where. This would actually be written as it is. There wouldn't be a kanji commonly for this. So yeah, this is the word as it usually we would write it like that. So you could say doko ni arimasu ka? Do you know where something is? Very useful, very very useful. That's how you would use it, and it uses do, so you can say doko, anything. Where is anything? You can always ask questions like that. And then next, another question word we have here is nani, which means why. This is also a very good question word. I'll cover the question words again eventually, but for now I'll just teach you these little basic ones. But eventually we'll get into them all in another video. But here is na, which is 4 strokes. Very useful to know how to draw that. It's used in words like nani. This would have a kanji, but we'll get into that in another video. Next we have is ni, which is 3 strokes, and yeah, 3 strokes there. It's used in words like nihongo, so Japanese. It's also used in words like nihon, which is actually Japan, the country, so you would say nihon, and there is a kanji for that as well, like most things here, but this is how you would pronounce it. And yeah, that's how you would want to draw that. Next we have nu, which is used in words like nui gurumi, which is a plush animal. Nui gurumi is a blushed animal. So yeah, very useful to know this character as well. As you can see there, just like any stuffed animal, Nuigurumi, which would be that. Use this character right here. Next we have ne, which is 2 strokes, and it's used in words like neko, which is a cat. So yeah, also very useful to know as well. Neko, which is a cat. And then next we have no, which is 1 stroke. So keep in mind, this looks like it might have 2 strokes, but it actually is just 1. You connect it all the way. So be careful, make sure you draw that with the correct stroke order. Again, this is no, and it'd be used in words like nomu, which means to drink something. Nomimasu, this is where the verb comes from, and it uses this letter right here. So next we have ha. This is 3 strokes, so yeah, all like that. This one looks like it would have 3 strokes, so yeah, that is the ha sound. It's used in words like hataraku, which means to work. And next character we have here is ba, which is also 3 strokes, pronounced like ba, and it's used in words like baka, which means a fool or an idiot. So that is that word right there. And then next we have the handakten, which can modify the P column. So just this column, it can't be used with the other letters we just learned, but it is commonly used with these letters, so make sure you can recognize it. Here it is there. If you have the ha, it becomes a pa, so you change them all to like a P sound almost. And yeah, we'll get into these next right now. So the first letter is pa, which is used in words like pan, which is bread. So yeah, very useful. That's how you would draw it, although this would be written in katakana usually. But I just wanted to show you how it would be written with this. That's the example there. Pan, written in hiragana, katakana usually, but here it's written in katakana and hiragana. So next letter we have here is hi, which is used in words used in words like hitsuyo, which is means that something is necessary, like you need something. Hitsuyo, very useful. You need something. Hi. This is also 1 stroke, so make sure you draw that properly. 1 stroke. Also looks like there might be multiple, but make sure you draw it as 1 stroke. So that's that. And then next we have B. This also can be modified by the same thing we learned earlier. B, which would be biru, means building. Keep in mind that if you write it like that, it is not beer. Beer would be with a space in it, so biru would be beer, and biru means building. So you can see there, that's that B sound. And then the P sound we just learned would be pinku, which is pink, also 1 stroke. But this would also commonly be written in katakana, but just to show you an example, there is the hiragana version, so that's how it's written there. Pinku uses that P sound. Next we have fu, which is 4 strokes. This one's a little harder to draw, as you can see. Just all those strokes there. Fu sound. It's used in words like Fuji-san, which is Mount Fuji. So that's commonly used. This will also be written in kanji, of course, but that's how you would pronounce it. Down there, Fuji-san is Mount Fuji. Uses that fu sound. Next we have bu, which is also 4 strokes. It's used in words like bunka, which means culture. So that's also very commonly used word. Bunka is culture. And next we have he, which is 1 stroke, also 1 stroke, just all 1 motion there to draw that. He sound is used in words like hea, which is a room. Any room you go in would be hea. So that's that he sound there. Next we have pe, which is 1 stroke as well. It is used in, here I have it used in peko, which is a onomatopoeia. So it's not a beginner word at all, but definitely useful to know. This is where you'll commonly see it. It's a onomatopoeia to describe hunger. So if you're hungry, you can use this onomatopoeia, and it's a fun word. Peko. Very nice word, fun word to learn. And next we have hoshi, which is 4 strokes here. So yeah, I gotta draw all those lines. Quite a few, quite difficult. But yeah, just keep practicing and you'll get used to it. There's all those strokes there. Ho is used in words like hoshi, which means a star. It can also mean, depending on which kanji you use. That's why there is kanji, otherwise you wouldn't really know. But yeah, it could also mean that you want something. So you can say anata no hoshi desu, which means I want you. And yeah, that's how that's used. It means I want. But in this case here, it means star. But depending on the context and the kanji and how it's pronounced, you can tell what it is. But yeah, here it just means star. So keep that in mind. Next we have the bo sound, which also 4 strokes. And it's used in words like boku, which means I. It's another way of saying watashi. Watashi means I, and also boku means I as well. So that's very useful to know. Next we have po, which is used in words like poketo, which is a pocket. But yeah, commonly written in katakana, just so you know. But just an example, so you can see how you pronounce this sound. So it's the po sound used in words like poketo. And next we have ma, which is 3 strokes. 3 strokes there. Ma, it's used in words like mada, which means yet or still. Depending on how the context is, it can mean yet or still. So yeah, that's very useful, the word mada. Not yet, still doing something. That's how it's used. And then next we have mi, which is 2 strokes, and it's used in words like mizu, which is water. So yeah, that's very useful as well. 2 strokes, mi, mizu, that is that word right there. Next we have mu, which is 3 strokes, and yeah, used in words like murasaki, which is purple. Murasaki is purple, very useful character to know. Next we have me, which means it actually is a word by itself. It means eyes. And yeah, obviously written in kanji, but that's how you would pronounce it. And yeah, it's a word by itself, means eyes. Very useful to know. That is 2 strokes. Me is actually your eyes. So, very good word to know. Next we have mo, which is 3 strokes. 3 strokes, mo sound. It's used in words like moji, which is text. Obviously, emoji would be the picture, text, emoji. But here we have moji, which is just text. So that's very useful to know as well. Next we have ra. This is 2 strokes here. Used in words like ramen. You'll see this written in katakana commonly, but I've seen it written like this before. So definitely not uncommon to see like that. But yeah, typically it'll be written in katakana. So just keep that in mind. Ramen, which would be la sound with 2 strokes. Next we have li, which is used in words like lingo, which is a apple. This character here, li, 2 strokes, very common as well, used in words like lingo. And next we have ru, which is 1 stroke, so make sure you draw this properly. It looks like it could be multiple strokes, but it is actually 1 stroke. So draw it like that properly. Ru is used in words like taberu, commonly used at the end of verbs to conjugate them, and those are actually the verb types, the lu verbs. So you can conjugate those. You'll commonly see lu at the end of a verb. So that's how that works. Taberu, which means to eat. And next we have re, which is 2 strokes. Used in words like reizoko, which is a fridge, refrigerator. And yeah, 2 strokes. Reizoko, which is a refrigerator, 2 strokes. Nice common word there. And yeah, next we have ro, which is used in words like roku. Roku is the number 6. You'll see how it's written, never written in katakana or hiragana. But yeah, kanji in the top left, that's the kanji that it uses, and you'll always write it. You always write it how it looks in the top left. That's how you always want to write the number 6. It's that there, the top left. And yeah, roku is the number 6. So very useful to know. Now we have our next character here, which is ya. This is 3 strokes here. So yeah, you want to draw this properly. Easy to draw wrong. I always drew this wrong, but this is the correct way to draw it. You want to go like this, like that. Then the biggest stroke last. So yeah, make sure you draw it like that. This is ya. It's used in words like yama, which means a mountain. Yeah, very useful to know. Hear that a lot. And next we have yu, which is used in words like yuki, which is snow. So if it's snowing, yuki, you can use this word here, and it is a 2 strokes. Yuki. This is very useful as well. Next we have yo, which is used in words like yomu, which means to read. So 2 strokes here. Yo, used in words like yomu, so you can read. And next we have wa, which is in words like wakaru, which means to understand. This has got 2 strokes. Wa. And yeah, used in words like wakaru, which is to understand. And then next we have the o, which is only used as the object marker. You never see this in a word, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, just used as the object marker. So you can see here, watashi wa pizza o tabemasu means I eat pizza. As you can see, it modifies pizza. Yeah, because you have the verb there, taberu, which means to eat. So you modify the verb, which makes it the object marker in the situation here. Watashi wa pizza o tabemasu. That's how you use this object marker, and yeah, 3 strokes. Or that's how you use it, only used in the situation here. And then next we have the n sound. This is like an n, and it is never used to start a word, but it is 1 stroke. So make sure you draw that with 1 stroke. Easy to mistake that for 2 strokes, but yeah, 1 stroke, so make sure you draw that correctly. And yeah, it is used in words like tanjobi, which means birthday. So yeah, that's, you'll see it at the in words, never at the beginning of a word to start a word. So yeah, that's that word right there, tanjobi. And then next, that is all the characters, but we do have to cover the digraphs, which are also very important, and I'll show you why they are important here. So digraphs are used when you join any of the hiragana characters from the I column to a lowercase letter of the Y row. So it changes the word completely. That's why it's important to know the difference. So you can see here, they're just smaller, written smaller, and that's how you know how to pronounce them differently. So you can see here, you versus you. You can see Ryu versus Ryu, which would mean dragon would be Ryu, and Ryu would be reason. So they are different words with just slightly different, written different. So that's how you know to pronounce them different. So yeah, Ryu would mean dragon, and then Ryu means reason. So they are very different, but yeah, they look similar. So now here's some more digraphs. We're not going to go over examples for each and every one, but they are the characters we just learned. So now I'll show you how to pronounce these individually, quickly. We'll go over these quickly because obviously this is a quite a long video, obviously. So yeah, a lot of characters, so don't stress them. You'll get used to them eventually. Just keep practicing them, keep using this video, and yeah, you'll master these eventually. So, starting off, we have kya, kyu, kyo, which would be the key column. It can modify all these columns here that you see on screen. And yeah, so kya, ki, kyo, and then you have gya, gyu, gyo, sha, shu, sho, ja, ju, jo for the G column. And then the Chi column, we have cha, chu, cho. Ni would be nyu, nya, nyu, nyo. Then he, we have hya, hyu, hyo. We have the P column, which would be pya, pyu, pyo. And then P, we have pya, pyu, pyo. And then we have mya, mu, myo, and then ri column would be ria, ryu, and ryo. So that's all these digraphs here. We'll go over them one more time. So we have kya, kyu, kyo, gya, gyu, gyo. The shi would be sha, shu, sho. Ji would be ja, ju, jo. Chi would be cha, chu, cho. Ni would be nya, nyu, nyo. And then he would be hya, hyu, hyo. P would be pya, pyu, pyo. B would be bya, byu, byo. Mi would be mya, mu, myo. And ri would be ria, ryu, ryo. So that's all of them there. Quite difficult to say pretty fast, but yeah, definitely very useful to know, because some words would change the meaning depending on how you use these. So these are the digraphs. Definitely could take some time to master them, but hopefully this helped, and yeah, if it did, that's pretty much all the characters. So for this alphabet, there's obviously another alphabet, and obviously the kanji, which are the hardest, obviously, but yeah, don't stress it too much. Hopefully this helped a little bit. Hopefully this is all review, but if not, don't stress it, because it is pretty difficult. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace out.